Hello everyone, welcome back to, we're reading Dotcom Secrets for you guys today. We're going to be starting Chapter 1, Section 1, Ladder and Funnel. Ladders and funnels. Alright, let's hop right in. Section 1, Secret 1, Number 1. The Secret Formula. Who, where, bait, and result. It was 11:27 a.m. on a Monday morning, and no matter what I told myself, I just couldn't get out of bed. The muscles in my body ached, although it didn't make sense. I knew I wasn't sore from the exercise, but I hadn't worked out. I had a sick feeling in my stomach that I felt like the flu, but I knew I wasn't sick. In my head, I was wishing that I had a boss so he could fire me and end this nightmare that I knew I had to face as soon as I finally stumbled out of bed. How had I gotten here? Just a few years earlier, I had officially become an entrepreneur and launched my own company, and despite a lot of mistakes along the way, I had learned a few tricks and was having this success. The company I started was profitable. We were serving people and making a difference, but for some reason I was miserable. A few weeks later, I found myself in front of a huge blank whiteboard trying to sketch out why I was feeling this way. Something was wrong with my business, and I wanted to figure out what it was. After what seemed like hours, I wrote down 2 words: who, result. I asked myself, who is the person I really want to work with? Up to the point in my businesses, I had been trying to sell to anyone and everyone I could. While that sounds smart at first, it left me tired, frustrated, and empty inside. After I got a good idea of who I would ideally work with, if I had that choice, I started to think about the results I would want to give them. I asked myself, where could I serve my customers at the highest level? I realized it wasn't through a product or a service, rather it was by giving them a result that would change their lives. The results is where I wanted to take them. A few minutes later, I added 2 more words to the board: where and bait. Where are these people? How can I find them online? What type of bait can I create to attract my dream client and repel everyone else? These questions eventually became the outline for what I now call the secret formula, and it's really the first step that you have to take before you can grow any company. The secret formula. The secret formula consists of 4 simple questions. These are the same 4 questions that I ask anyone who hires me for personal consultations. At the time of writing, companies pay me $25,000 per day to help them understand and implement this formula and the funnels and scripts inside this book. Now, while I know you didn't pay anywhere near $25,000 to learn this information and go through this process, I recommend you treat this and all of the exercises inside this book as if you did invest the full amount. If you do, you will get a lot more out of this process. I'm going to take you through, and this book will become like a private $25,000 consultation with me. Okay, let me talk you through the process. Question number 1. Who is your dream client? The first question you have to ask yourself is, who do I actually want to work with? Most of us start with a product idea, never thinking about who we want as clients, customers, vendors, and associates. But these are the people you will be interacting with day in and day out. You'll probably spend more time with these people than your own friends and family. You choose your significant others carefully, so why wouldn't you take the same time and care in deciding who your dream client or customer will be? If you're just getting started, this may not seem important, but I promise you that if you don't consciously choose your dream client, one day you will wake up like I did, working with people who exhaust you and wishing that someone could fire you from the business you created. After I had successfully launched my first software company, a lot of people took notice of my success online and started asking me how I was making money. Because I saw the demand, I thought it would be fun to teach others how to start their own businesses online. A good thing was there were a lot of people who wanted to start businesses, and we made a lot of money teaching them. But the downside was that most of them didn't have any money and couldn't invest in the higher ticket things I wanted to sell. And most had no business experience, so I had to spend tons of time on the fundamentals, and it drove me crazy. which is why I didn't want to get out of bed in the morning. I had so much value I wanted to provide people, showing how I had scaled my companies, teaching conversion secrets and how we structure our funnels, but 99% of the time was spent showing them how to buy a domain and setting up hosting. I really spent years serving these customers and it made me miserable. My family suffered, and no matter how much money we made, I wasn't happy. It took years before I sat back and actually thought about the who. I realized I had overlooked some pretty important questions. Who are my dream clients? What do they look like? What are they passionate about? What are their goals, dreams, and desires? After about a week of thinking about the who question, I sat down and created 2 customer avatars, one for the men I wanted to work with and one for the women I wanted to work with. For the women, I picked a name and wrote it down, Julie. When I listed out the things I knew about Julie, she is successful and driven, she has a message to share, she values her personal growth over money, and she already grown her business to at least 5 figures a year. Next, I wrote down the name Mike. Next to Mike's name, I wrote out the things I knew about Mike. He is a former athlete. At some point, he has helped to change someone's life in a small way and wants to learn how to help more people. He values growth over money, and he already built his business to at least 5 figures a year. Then I went to Google Images and typed in Julie and the characteristics I had written out. Within minutes, I found a picture that looked like the woman in my mind. I printed out and hung it on my wall. I did the same for Mike, and within minutes, I had both pictures of my dream clients hanging on my wall. This may seem like a silly exercise, but it's important that you do it anyways. Really spend some time thinking about who you want to work with, write out their characteristics, and go find an actual picture to represent them. It's amazing how your perspective changes when you have a physical picture of your ideal customer instead of a hazy, half-formed image in your head. Question number 2. Where can you find them? The next question in this secret formula is where. Can you find this ideal man or woman? Where do they hang out? Are they on Facebook or Instagram? What groups are they a part of? What email newsletters do they subscribe to? What blogs do they read? Are they reading the New York Times or the Huffington Post? What other interests do they have? Do they have sports or the arts? How about fishing or race cars? If you don't know the who, it will be hard to find out where your perfect client can be found. So make sure you know exactly who you're trying to attract. Then just write down a few places you think this prospect might hang out online. Over the next few chapters, you're going to take a deep dive into how and where to find your dream clients. I'll show you exactly where to find the people you're looking for. Question number 3. What bait will you use to attract them? Once we know where the dream customers are, we have to create the right bait to attract them. Your bait could be a physical book, a CD, DVD, or an audio recording, anything that your dream customer would pay attention to and want. As my company moved away from selling to beginners and towards attracting dream clients, our first step was to create new bait that would attract Mike or Julie. So we created a book called Dotcom Secrets Labs, 108 proven split test winners. This bait worked great for us because most beginners don't know what a split test is, but we knew that Julie and Mike, our dream customers, would know what these terms mean, and they would be hungry to get their hands on the book. Within days of launching this new offer, we had thousands of dream clients lining up to work with us. When you find out what your dream client wants, it becomes very easy to attract them. Although this book, we're going to talk more about creating the right bait. Right now, just realize the bait has to match what your dream customer wants. Question number 4. What results do you want to give them? Once you've hooked your dream customers with the perfect bait, the last question is, what results do you want to give them? I'm not talking about this product or service you want to sell them. A business is not about products and services. A business is about what result you can get for your clients. Once you and they understand that concept, the price is no longer a barrier. For me, I knew the best way I can serve my dream client is to send my team to their office and help build out their sales funnel. Hire and train their sales team and set up systems to drive consistent leads into the company. This is how I can have the deepest impact and serve the clients at highest level. Ideally, it's where I would like to take all my customers. The type of service is not cheap. but the results I can deliver at the level are amazing. To put in perspective, for what service my company charges a retainer and a percent of sales, which is combined equal $1 million. I understand that many of the customers won't be able to pay me for that level of service, which is why we develop our products and services, but understanding where you ultimately want to take the dream client is the key to this step. Imagine that your client could pay you anything to get desired results. What then would you do to help guarantee their results? Where would you lead them? What does the place look like? Keep that place in mind. It's the pinnacle of success for your clients. It's where you want to take them, and it's the key to this last step. That's it. The 4 steps again are as followed. Step 1, who are your dream clients? Step 2, where can you find them? Step 3, what bait will you use to attract them? Step 4, what results do you want to give them? I know this exercise seems simple, but it is the key to everything else we'll be discussing in this book. So take a few minutes now and really answer these 4 questions. Up next, in the next chapter, we're going to dig a little deeper and focus on the steps you need to follow to lead your dream customer from taking the bait to consuming your products, offering to arriving where you want to take them. If you structure this correctly, people will naturally ascend to where you want them to be. They will give you more money and you'll be able to serve them at a much higher level. Alright, so that's secret number 1 out of Dotcom Secrets by Russell Brunson. In the next video we'll be going over the value letter, which is secret number 2. So stay tuned.